I want to talk a little bit about truck accidents because if you find yourself in a situation where a loved one has been involved in a truck accident, you quickly realize that while there are a lot of similarities to a typical car accident, there are also a number of differences. And so I wanted to make a video to just talk about a few of those and explain the process a bit because there's no doubt about it. Car accidents can be terrible and life-changing, but your odds of having a truly catastrophic life-changing event are infinitely higher when you're involved with a tractor trailer or a commercial vehicle. So I want to walk through a little bit of that. Some of the differences are obvious. You've got a bigger vehicle, obviously. And when you're in New Mexico, like we are, you are surrounded by these on the highways. We're just typically used to the oil fields and the oil field traffic. And sometimes you just kind of hang on. I had a smaller vehicle years ago, and they'd go by me and my whole car would just kind of rattle, and you really do kind of have this feeling that you just want to hang on. And so if you find yourself involved in those, there are a few things that you really need to do right away, and even more so than just a car accident, you need to get an attorney to help you. We've been involved in helping a number of families through the years. We've recovered millions of dollars for families because these damages are just so different when you've got a tractor trailer involved with another vehicle, usually a smaller car. The injuries are much different. So that's one of the big differences. But there are also differences with the law. Tractor trailers, commercial vehicles, they are required to comply with federal motor carrier regulations. There's specific laws that govern safety compliance with them, not only for the driver, but for the companies and the practices of even how they go about hiring a driver. And so there's a number of legal aspects that are different and must be considered when you're involved with the tractor trailer accident. Right out of the gates, investigations become very important. In our office, we work with experts and accident reconstructionists because the days, the weeks after the accident are some of the most critical as you're gathering evidence and trying to start building your case. And when you're involved in a tractor trailer accident, oftentimes liability, which means who is at fault, becomes a much more important issue because New Mexico is a comparative fault state, and that means that you can assign fault to the accident based off percentages of fault. Well, even shifts of a few percentage points when you've got damages that are massive can be really important. So insurance companies representing these tractor trailers are oftentimes very skilled at undermining every argument and trying to shift as much fault to you as possible. And so, these accidents just weigh heavily on families because it often not only involves the physical injuries, but the emotional ones that come with it. And that's part of the healing process. We work with families to walk them through this process, and God forbid you're involved or have a loved one involved where they were killed in the accident, that becomes a wrongful death claim. And so we walk through this with families because a lot of times you aren't just dealing with some of the medical bills, but you're dealing with significant issues. Like, what if they can't go back to the career they've worked their entire lives to try and build up to? And if their future ability to earn a living is impacted, what does that look like? And so there are just a lot of moving parts with a tractor trailer accident. So if you find yourself involved in that situation, or a loved one has been, I would strongly encourage you to reach out to us. Get help soon, even more so than just a typical car accident because of all the factors that are involved. We would love to be able to help you. If you find yourself in that situation and need help, give us a call. We'd be happy to visit with you and walk you through that process like we have with countless other families.